I know it says starting event now. Hey, how's it going? Hey, it's Kirk Duncan. Welcome to our webinar jam here and this whole experience of learning about being an empath, right? This is Empath Training 201. You've already attended Empath Training 101, and they tell me it's working. I'm learning technology. I tell you what, I don't know if empaths should be messing around with technology. You got to have people around you to tell you what buttons to push. I actually pushed the button to start just a little while ago, and I was talking to myself for a while, and then they told me I didn't push the right button yet. So funny. So yes, you too can be a successful mentor, trainer, coach, facilitator, and not know how to run technology. It's so funny. But hey, not tonight, but here at this time, we're going to learn about the next level about being an empath. And where I'm going to come from as we talk about this is my own personal journey. I have been mentoring people for 16 years, and I have been training and mentoring for 16 years, and I have been using my empath abilities to help people for 16 years. It has been one of the most incredible journeys I have ever gone through in my entire life of being able to help people and work with people. Now, along the way, I've had people say, "Hey, are you an empath?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. I'm kind of still discovering that." But as I study and look to see if I am, of course I am. I have an ability to sense and feel and tune into people. But the smart thing that I figured out along the way is how to manage this so that I don't have too much information coming in and I don't lose my identity. I don't get overwhelmed with other people's information, but I used to. I used to be in a place where it was unnerving. It was just so weird because I couldn't stand to be around people. And like I mentioned in Empath 101 training, that it was really difficult because there was so much information coming in. So I've had to learn how to set boundaries. I've had to learn how to govern and manage this gift so that I can like my life, I can love my life, and I can use this gift on purpose. So my intention to talk to you right now is to take you into a deeper understanding with more clarity about what this gift is for you. So there's, we as these empaths, we can look at this as a weird thing, but it's very important that we look at it as a very, very, very important gift that we have that is needed right now in this world right now for our relationships, our families, our friends, the people we work with, and whomever else we can connect with. So it's huge, it's super important. And the reason why it's important is because people don't know how to look inside themselves to solve internal problems. And the problems that are internal that people wrestle with is that they have unfinished experiences inside of them. They have thoughts that pull them away from their goals in life, and they have emotions that they don't know how to manage. So the common person in the world today is not good at emotional management, is not good at thought management, and is not good at processing what happened yesterday and what happened last week and what happened in the past for their lives. They don't understand how to do that. And they don't know how to look inside themselves. So an empath has an ability to sense what's going on inside of a person, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and what's happened to them. And where did that originate from? So empaths have a way of looking through the skin to see the person. Now, I've been asked before, like, oh, so when you look into people, do you look for everything that's wrong with them? It's like, no, I'm there to improve the system. I don't use my empath abilities to like find all the junk and trash on people. That's like a waste of time. It's like, no, let me help the person, help them. So you and I as empaths, what happens is we can kind of think that's weird or strange that we can do that, but it's part of humanity that there's people that are more attentive and more in tune that can help. In every tribe, there's a person in the tribe that the tribe goes to for clarity. It's the person they go to for clarity. And there's a person in the tribe that is the leader who says, we're going this way. But then there's this person who helps people understand what's going on. And that's where I've found great joy in understanding this empath ability, because I can help people understand what's happening to them or why they do what they do. Because the most maddening thing in a person's life is when they can't understand why they do what they do and they wish they could stop. They wish that they could change, but they don't understand what's causing that. And using empath skills can help you understand the person to help them understand themselves so they can figure out where to make a change. I hope that all makes sense. Now, I'm going to try something different this time. Last time I uploaded my slides to this program I'm using right here, but it kind of limited me on what I was doing. So I got to try this other direction of how to show you these slides that I'm going to show you. So you and I, we get to find out how this is going to work. Okay, so let me kind of check this out of which button to push. So hold tight just for a second. Oh, I actually have to move it to this side. Hold just for a second. I got to move my screens. I got multiple screens in front of me, and I got to move this around. Okay, I think this is going to work. Kirk, how come you didn't test this before this program? It's like, we'll test it in front of you. Okay, now this is not like the most perfect way to do this, but it's going to give me some freedom to demonstrate some things for you, which I know you're going to like. So just hang in there with my technical ways here. For example, let me show you. Let me show you what this is going to look like. Watch this. Boom. Okay, you see that? You see that on the screen there? It's like my slide deck, right? So hold on. Let me just make this bigger for you. Is that going to work? Hold on. Let me see if I make it too big. Whoa, is that full screen? Oh man, that's just tiny bit too big. Hold on just a second. Yeah, it's kind of give me a second while I reshape that. Okay, perfect. So yeah, you can see my slides down the side, but they're a little tiny. Some of them I'll use, some of them I'm going to skip. So we're going to get through as much as we can here in the time together. Let's go. Okay, first off, you know, as a child, I was a very shy introvert. I have learned up to the age I am right now, I am 51. At the age of 51, I have learned I can change me. I can develop gifts. I can acquire gifts. I can adjust my mind and how it thinks. I can be producing a particular level of results, and I can change that. I can change me. I totally believe it, and I've been doing it for years, and I love it. It's grueling sometimes, but I know even though I started out as this child, as an introvert, thank you, my past, for what I experienced. But I know at the age of 51, I have the power to develop and change who I am. Now, with that statement comes responsibility that I will now step into personally developing my gifts and talents and abilities and anything else I want to get good at. And if I may share with you, one really important thing I want to get good at is listening. If I can listen more carefully, I will have deeper understanding. So for you, as an empath, or noticing you may have empath abilities, you want to practice and get better at listening to every word a person says. Inside the words of what people say, there is massive amounts of information. Let me explain. Let me explain this to you. One word that a person says, I have found, has about 3 to 4 paragraphs of information behind it. Every word we select to say that comes out of our mouth has a history behind it. And so when I listen to somebody talk, I listen to the word, but I look beyond the word and I listen beyond the word to try to pick up on the history behind that particular emphasized word. And so one of the gifts I'm going to suggest that you practice and that you want to personally develop is your attention when it's time to listen. Now, you have a lot of distractions. There's a lot of distractions that you face every single day. And distractions keep us from listening. Wisdom comes from listening. Being in tune with the person, that's your empath abilities, means listening to them. Now, last time we talked, I showed you all these slides. I showed you all this. I walked through every one of these statements about empathy and empaths. And what you and I saw as we went through these slides is that an empath is a person who has a higher level of empathy. And empathy is a good thing. Empathy is the capacity to understand or feel what another person is experiencing from within their frame of reference. So listening causes you to tune in to the person. So whatever level of skill you have as an empath or gift you have as an empath, you're not done. You are on the way to developing even a deeper level of being an empath. And when I say deeper level, what that means is that you're able to go into a person's life and be able to perceive information that is deeper than a normal person would be able to hear. Every person has different kinds of information. Surface information, next layer deep, and then the core information. And you as an empath, as you're starting out, based upon your ability to pay attention, you'll be able to perceive information about a person on the outside edge. But that's just the beginning level of information about this person and their experiences and who they are. If you're more attentive, you'll be able to perceive a next level deeper. Now, do you see where deeper comes from? This is the surface. This is going deeper. This is going deeper. And then this is the core. To be able to understand people at their core. And so you as an empath right now, because you're even on this training with me, you have an ability to perceive outside information on the edge, which means you can pick up on the mood and you're able to interpret the mood most of the time correctly. If you've been practicing this listening and being in tune skill for a while, you not only can pick up on the outer edge, but you can pick up on this inner edge, this next level of information about a person. So there are different levels of information that you can perceive about a person. Now, yes, you could perceive this information and be a mean, wicked, evil, manipulative person, and you could take advantage of people and be very mean. Now, that's not good because when you die, you're going to end up going to hell. So I don't know if you want to do that or not. So just don't be wicked with this. Just don't go bad. Because you know when you die, you're not going to go to heaven. And we're all going to die. So might as well just like get that straight in your head. Don't be dumb with this skill. Use this skill to help people, not to take advantage of them. And if you have been using it to take advantage of people, well, you better turn your ways around, or you're going to end up, when you die, you're probably going to go right down the escalator, right down the slide to the gates of hell. And that's not a good place, because you're just going to burn forever, right? Okay, so we use this empath ability to perceive information. And what information are we gathering? Do you remember this from last time from Empath Training 101? The information they were gathering comes through sensing their emotions, their thoughts, their experiences in life, their mood, the behavior, their language. Lots of different ways that you can pick up on this information. So what's cool about this is whatever level you have reached so far, there's more. You can be more in tune. Now, let's say you are a mom and you have children. Moms or women have a natural ability to be more empathic than men. Just a little bit edge there. There's just this extra edge. Not everybody, it's not a guarantee, but it does happen where there's the motherly intuition, right? Motherly intuition. Now, mothers, they can sense their children pretty good, but also mothers can, be grumpy and be ornery about things, and they can lose their accuracy. Did you hear that? Accuracy. Just because you can perceive information, there's the next step of interpretation. There's information, but then there's interpretation. And if you're sloppy about interpreting the information, you're not going to be that accurate. What matters to me is that I can be in tune to the information, and then the next level is accuracy. Now, if I'm all grumpy and I'm all upset and I'm all bent out of shape and I'm all, just like put out about all kinds of stuff in life and I'm just whatever, that's not going to give me accuracy. Accuracy of interpretation of information comes from a calm mind and a calm heart. I have met people who claim to be empaths. Okay, they claim. They say, "Oh, I'm an empath." And I said, "Oh, wow, okay." And then I hear how they are, and then they try to explain to me how they help people, and I'm like, "How do you do that when you're so upset about the world?" And they're like, "Oh, that doesn't matter." And it's like, what? Your empath abilities don't just override your mind and your heart. Your mind and your heart is where your empath abilities come from. That's where it's functioning from. Now, don't worry. I give all credit to God for all gifts, okay? But we have to keep our mind and heart clear so that we are accurate in our interpretation of what we're sensing from a person. So when I meet somebody who tells me that they're an empath and I hear some things going on in their life and they're struggling, one of the first things I go to coach them on is you need to shape up. You need to get yourself cleaned up because you may not be interpreting accurately. And you may only be picking up on part of the story and you think you got the whole story on this person. You think you're on, but you're not. Because I can tell you're upset, you're frustrated, you're mad at your spouse, your kids upset you, and it's like, yeah, no, you're not functioning at your top level. So not only am I interested in you being able to move and advance your abilities to be sensitive and care and understand people and be able to help them, but it also matters to me how you are on the inside. and what's going on the inside. Because if you have this gift of being an empath, then there's a responsibility you have to get yourself in shape mentally and emotionally. Because it's pretty sad to meet an empath who is fried. They're just like bzz, they're just like fried, and they can't think, but they can be an empath, but they're just a mess, and they're not taking care of themselves. They're not taking care of themselves, and they can't manage what's going on in this empath experience that they're having. Because I'm going to show you deeper some other things that are going on that you're going to want to manage yourself, because it just makes your life so much more calm. So I hope you get it. You not only get to advance your skill and your gift, but you also get to get more clear and focused on the inside. And let me explain what that looks like. So inside you have some functions. Now I'll explain what these functions are. Inside you, there are these different functions. You can feel, you have a mouth to talk, you can see, and you can think. So these are functions. These are your human being functions that support you in being able to listen and interpret and connect with people and understand them. So these are your functions. Now, what can happen? Now, watch this. Super important that you understand how you could be interpreting incorrectly when you are being in tune with people. If you are negative about something and somebody does something and it makes you upset, here's a little pocket of negative energy. That little pocket of negative energy comes over and it will sit right on your heart. It will. It loads up right on your chest. And when you get too many of them, you have a difficult time breathing, and you feel a shortness of breath, and your chest can hurt, and your throat, you get sore throats easily, as these negative pockets of energy stack up on your heart. Now, notice what's happening. Every little negative pocket of energy builds up, and look what it's covering up. You see what it's covering up? Your ability to feel. You can lose your ability to feel, which then what that means is you lack the ability to sense this person, to be able to understand them. So your work is to keep your heart clear and clean. Now, what happens is when this stacks up, look what's next. This negativity stacks up, and once it gets into the zone of your language, guess what? You start talking negatively. You start being critical of yourself. You start being critical of other people. You're judgmental and you're harsh on people. And I know you'll tell me, no, I'm not that way. It's like you will end up that way. Once this stacks up, it starts to come out your mouth. Once your heart is overloaded and it's stacked up, it then comes out your mouth and you don't even know it, because your heart has that negativity. You can't even tell that the negativity is coming out your mouth. You can't even tell, because to you, it feels normal, because there's so much hurt and negativity on your heart. And so when it comes out of your mouth, you can't even tell the difference. It's like, oh, I didn't say that. That wasn't mean. That wasn't critical. And it's like, yeah, it was. No, it wasn't. I didn't feel the difference. It's like, yeah, because your heart's all covered. This is really important. As an empath, you want all four of these functions to function well so that you can be accurate. Accuracy is important. Just because you're an empath doesn't mean you're accurate. You got to keep these clear. Okay, so let's just go through the pattern here. Well, look, you keep going and you let the negativity stack up inside. Now look what gets covered up. Now you can't feel what's going on. Your language, because when your language is messed up, you can't hear their language very well. And now you're losing your ability to actually read their non-verbal cues. Did you know that as an empath, you are a natural body language reader? It just comes with it. It just comes with it. You naturally can read people's body language because it's communication. Body language is another form of communication. But when your eyes are all plugged up with your stack of negativity, how are you supposed to see? You can't see. You can't see it. You're getting all stacked up. That's not going to work. You might be an empath, but you're not accurate. Okay, you see where this is going. You see where it's going. It's like, well, let's keep going here. Stacks up. Whoa, it's going to hit the top floor. Boom. Now you can't even process, can't even decipher, can't even put things together. You know what's freaky about this? Let me tell you what's freaky about this as an empath. You're an empath and there is incoming information to you, but you can't process it. You can't understand it. You don't know how to explain it, and you can't interpret your feelings because you're stacked up. Man, if I could talk to every empath in this world, I'd be giving this training to them right now. There are people who are empaths who are gummed up. They're stacked up with negativity, and they can't decipher what's going on with all this information coming from people, right? Okay, so it's super important that you have a process to remove negativity from your body. These don't evaporate. I don't know if you get this or not, but they do not evaporate. They do not go away with time. They don't just all of a sudden wiggle out your ear and then drop out on the floor. They don't come out in earwax, and they don't come out when you sneeze. That's not how they come out. They stay in here until you change your standards. You have to change your standards. Raise your standard of who you are as a person. And then you tell your mind, hey, no. We don't harbor negativity. And do you remember what I taught you in Empath Training 101? Do you remember that? Remember what I told you to do? Journal every day. Honest journaling. And these negative pockets will come out and they'll show up in your journaling. But you need to think them out on paper. And you decide today that negativity leaves your body. You don't store it anymore. You got to tell your body you don't want it, that it needs to go. You need to just tell it needs to go. Like, I don't store negativity. I feel it, but then it goes. You can feel it for 5 minutes and then you got to let it go. Because everybody, we all experience negativity, but it's like, no, hold on. I got to let this go. I got to let it flow through me, not come in, set on me, stack up, and distort my functions. As an empath, you want accuracy. Accuracy. That's what you want, but you can't have accuracy when you're all stacked up. So use the journaling process to be able to remove these so that they can go away. And as you do that, bits and pieces and chunks and masses will leave you. And as this gets uncovered, you will find a joy. Oh, you will find a joy that is so good because you can think and you can process the information you're picking up about people, and you can see, you can read their physical cues, their body language cues. You can see it to be able to substantiate and be able to confirm what you're picking up. And then your language will clear up and you'll realize that you can be a nice person. You weren't born to be critical. You know what's weird? Let me tell you something that's weird. I meet a lot of empaths that are critical. You want to know why they're critical? Because the negativity's stacked up and it's in their mouth. The energetic masses are in their mouth, and they're just critical. They're critical. And it's like, oh, you're such a good empath, but you're critical. It's like, man, if you can clear your mouth out, not wash it with soap. I know that's what the good old days, it was like, wash your mouth out with soap. It's trying to clean your mouth. But this right here, this is the tough spot, is to clear your heart. Because empaths, oh, we feel everything. We feel the sadness in the world. We feel the discouragement. We feel the despair. We feel the hurt. We feel the pain. I mean, if I let that in right now, oh man, I'm just going to break down bawling right now because I already feel it welling up inside of me. This one's tough. How do you keep your heart clear when you feel so much? Well, it's possible. And it's what I've been working on for a long time. I want to be an excellent empath that it can sense accuracy and my heart is open to be able to interpret correctly. That's just what I want. I want to be able to use this gift at the highest level possible and then hopefully advance it so I can help. But this heart work that's right here, that's very tender. It requires some attention to be able to remove the negativity. I don't remove people, I remove the negativity. And the negativity that's on a heart is regret, resentment, and blame. Regret, resentment, and blame. Those are the three damaging emotions to a heart because regret stays there a long time. Resentment stays there a long time. Blame stays there a long time. In fact, they can sit there for years. And you actually get accustomed to regret, resentment, and blame. And you think it's okay to do that. You probably think it's okay just to let a blame thing be in there for years, but it's covering up your heart, which then blocks. It blocks you to be able to sense people, and it messes with your accuracy. You're close, but not spot on. You get really, really, really close, but you miss that last piece. Man, you could be so much better as an empath if you could remove regret, resentment, and blame. They're damaging, super damaging, heavy, dark spots on your heart. And it will block you from loving people and caring about people in a tremendous level, deeper level. And when I say deeper, you know what I said when I said deeper? That means that you can go clear down in there and understand people at a core. Oops, wrong click on the arrow. And so you can go deeper into the information. Now, I know you're thinking like reading or interpreting your neighbor. No, let's talk about your kids, your friends, your mom and dad, your spouse. These are like close people. Man, if we could just understand each other, we would be more patient with each other and we would help each other. And then our advice we give would be so much more accurate. And you know what happens when you know you're being more accurate? You're going to be more confident as an empath. Confident. Because you can sense deeper into the person and you know what you're feeling and sensing and you know how you're helping the person is spot on. No question. No doubt. That's another thing that messes with an empath is doubt. Doubt. When they doubt themselves, then they hold back. And why do they doubt themselves? Because they know they're not being accurate, because they know their heart's stacked up with emotion. So it affects you. So taking this to Empath Training 201, it gets personal and it's about you. So if you tell me you're getting this, put in the chat, like say, got it, Kirk, type me a little message and say, got it. Like you got to do something here. And I know you're thinking, but what do I do? Well, there's lots of different ways to do emotional release techniques, right? There's 1,000 of them. There's 1,000 different emotion release techniques. But the simple one that I really gravitate towards is the fact of using imagery. I use journaling and imagery. and I'll write out my thoughts and feelings to move those emotions out. But then also I will I'll use imagery where I'll imagine that it's there. I'll give it a shape, a size, a color, a texture, and I'll even name it. And then I give it substance. And then what I do is then I imagine it moving out of my body. And I know that sounds so weird, but you get it, don't you? You get it. But I imagine that negative mass then comes out of my body. It's like, hey, if emotions can come out of my body, a negative emotion can come out of my body. It's not some kind of weird sci-fi movie. It's just, that's how it works. Because you can feel joy, you can feel love, you can feel anger from people. And so we can move emotions through our skin all the time. So to imagine an emotion, but to give it a color, a texture, a size, a shape, and an age and a name, you give it substance, then your mind can wrap around like, oh, there's something here. And it's like the mind goes, what do you want me to do with it? I want it to go out. And then I imagine just pulling out of my skin, pulling out of my chest, pulling out of my skin, and then it floats away. And then I tell it where to go. And I always send my negative emotions to the sun. Always send it vroom, up into the sky, straight at the sun. Because as it's heading towards the sun, it just goes. Now, I can still sort out my challenge and issue with a person, and this doesn't mean I get rid of people. It's the negative part that's hurting me and causing me to be distorted as an empath. I don't want to be distorted. I want to be accurate. Don't you want to be accurate? Tell me. Put a note in the chat. Say, I want to be accurate too. I want to be accurate. Because, man, when we're accurate, we're confident. We're confident. Oh, I hope this makes sense. I hope this makes sense. Does it make sense? That would make sense. Because if we're going to take this to the next level, you have to have higher standards. You have to. No more blaming another person for the way you feel. No more. Your feelings are in your charge. No more blaming another person for how you feel. You have to take charge of how you feel. No more saying, oh, they did that, so this is why I feel this way. No. You take charge of how you feel. You need to be in charge of that, because if you're not in charge of your feelings, who is? Who's got that? Who's got that? It's like somebody else? It's like, what? Somebody else? That's scary. That means you're going to feel out of control. If somebody else is in charge of how you feel, you're going to feel out of control every day. And you're not going to feel powerful, like you can do something. You're going to feel powerless because somebody else controls how you feel. Be in charge of how you feel, and don't blame another person for your negative feelings. You're the one who decided to keep it. You didn't know it, but you're the one who decided to keep it. You got to let those go. Journaling or using the visual. And if you didn't get that, it's give it a shape, a size, a color, a name, a location, an age. And now your mind can wrap around that it's there. And it's not weird to have your emotions come out of your skin. It's not weird. You do it all the time anyway. Okay, so you're raising your standards, right? You're raising your standards. And what you're doing is you're removing these emotions so all four of these functions can function for you, so you can be an accurate interpreter of what you're picking up with information from people. Because now we know that there can be a deeper dive of understanding information. And the deeper dive you take means you've got to be prepared to interpret correctly. That's what it means. It's like, yeah, I'm glad you feel that you're an empath, but you're going to learn, you're going to start to figure out more and more about people. And if you're off, it's not going to feel right. You will feel it when you're off. You'll feel it. And you'll be like, oh, I don't think that was completely 100% right on. 70%, but not 100%. And then you know what you'll do as an empath? You'll start to shut down. Empaths don't like being at 70%. No, we like being at 100%. And if we're picking up a vibe from ourselves that we're only 70% accurate, it bugs us. And we feel like we're deficient. We feel like we're a flawed program. And then we pull back. That's why there's so many shut down empaths, is because they were only 60, 70% accurate, and they felt the weirdness of that feeling because the sensation was something's off. And they took it as I'm off. And then they don't know how to fix it. They don't know what they're really trying to do. And so they shut down and they go quiet. And then they slip into depression. That's a fast story, huh? But that's what happens. That's what happens. So your mind can be improved. These are your neural networks. They can be improved. And in this experience of you going through this improvement, your neural networks will adjust. They will. So like, let me just show you here. Right here, this is a neural network. This little arm, right? All these little brain cells in your head and these stretchy little freeways that create this network in your head and all these little thoughts that are zooming down these different avenues of thought processes. Every single one of these, sorry, let me reframe that. These can be changed. They can be changed, but they change based upon what you're focused on. And so if you're focused on raising your standards and improving your skill, your mind will adjust. And if you're all about removing the negativity, then your mind will adjust. It will adjust and it will work for you. But remember this, your mind follows commands and you are the commander of the ship. And when you decide to tell your mind, we don't harbor negative feelings anymore. We do not harbor negative thoughts anymore. We remove them and we purify who we are. And you keep giving your mind that command every day, your mind will shift. It will adjust. So when it senses a negative emotion come in, then what it will do is it will sense it when it comes in, a grudge, a regret, a resentment, and it'll feel it come in, have its moment, and then it will move it out. You can train your mind to do that. And that will be very helpful for you as an empath to be able to do that. Cool, huh? Very cool. Okay, so let me just bring this up here. Okay, common mistakes, and I'm going to go into a deeper dive for you about this and what we can do about these things. Okay, so let's look at this. Common mistakes of an empath. Can't create distinctions. A distinction. So let me give you an example of distinction. Okay, so I showed this last time, but I'm going to show you a little bit deeper what this means. Okay, here's you. And you can pick up on all these people and you're over at somewhere and there's people and you can sense all this information coming into you. But a distinction means that you can tell it's not this person, it's this person you can feel and sense. Oh, and you can feel this person, but not this person. But you can this person, and this person's pretty hot-tempered. This one's, they're pretty good place. This one feels a little down. But that you can actually create distinctions and identify from what direction the information is coming. So what I do is when I feel information coming into me, like let's use this one for an example. When I feel information coming in, I actually have over the years trained my mind when new information comes in, I ask my mind, where did this come from and who is it? And then my mind will say, oh, it's the person across the room over there on the couch. And it's like, oh, all right. Because if I don't ask my mind to identify where the information is coming from, then it feels overwhelming. Because there's all this information coming in and I got nowhere to point at where it's coming from. I'm going to say this again. Listen carefully. When I pick up on a thought or a feeling like, oh, something's up, and I'm standing in a room, there's people around, and I feel information, I ask my mind, where did this come from? Who is this? And I'll listen as my mind calculates, where did this come from? And my mind can identify the person across the room, standing over by the wall. And then I can identify, this is creating distinctions, like you know where it's coming from. Because maybe this information is yucky. Maybe this person's like really messed up in their head. And it's like, okay, I don't want that. So because I don't want that, then I can put up a wall. And as their information is still, broadcasting from their brain, I can still have permission to put a block on it. I don't have to feel and pick up on people's yucky energy. I can block it because I know where it's coming from. And let's say I pick up on another yucky chunk of energy coming at me, like there's information coming at me and it's like, oh, what is that? It's like, no. Then I can grab another block and go, no, we're not doing that. I can stop that. Now, if you notice what this is, these are boundaries. Distinctions is identifying the person or the direction it's coming from. And I ask my mind where it's coming from. Now, when you first start this, it's going to be like, okay, this is weird. I'm actually asking my mind that I feel something and it's not my feeling. Whose is it? And you'll be like, this feels so silly. You'll be like, this is so weird. But your survival as an empath, you're going to have to create distinctions. You just are. If you don't, you're going to go nuts. You know it. You're going to go nuts. So to create distinctions, but then be able to interpret it and go, okay, this one's yucky. I don't want this. As an empath, you do not have to allow everything that's coming to you to come in. No, you have every right to go, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going there. And you can block them. And that energy can stay out there. Now, that's the biggest thing I hear the empaths struggle with is they're like, I don't know how to block that. And it's like, have you not written up a standard or like a code of ethics or some kind of like instruction manual for your mind? Like you're going to have to write a paragraph or maybe some bullet points. Write some bullet points of rules. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. You write up a bullet point list of rules that govern your space. What is allowed in your space and what is not allowed in your space. Like you got to have some, I know it sounds weird, but it's like you got to have some commandments for your space. If you're not governing your space, you're going to get trashed on. If you don't have ways to block it if you don't have blocks or rules, then this negative stuff from this person could be massive. They could be like, and then it comes into you. Guess what happens? Their information that is yucky makes you ornery. And now you're ornery to your kids, you're ornery to your spouse, you're ornery to your friends, and you don't know why. But now you know, oh boy, I think I picked up on somebody's ornery, grouchy energy, and it got in me. That's the part about being an empath is other people's information, which is their thoughts and feelings, will come into your space and change you. They will, especially if they're big and bold. They'll change you. And if you don't govern this space, you'll be affected by a lot of people and it can make you nauseous. The word you'll keep saying is overwhelmed. I feel so overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed. It's like, do you even know what overwhelmed even means? Yeah, I got so much to do. And it's like, we all have so much to do, but you feel an extreme amount. That most likely means you got people's information coming in that's in large amounts, and it's coming in and it's actually flooding your brain, flooding your body, and you can't even find yourself. Now, if that makes sense, put a comment in that I'm making sense. Just tell me that I'm making sense, because I hope so, because we're going there. Okay, so what happens is you write up your own governing rules for your personal space. And it's going to sound weird, but you got to do it. You got to do it so that you can exercise your stewardship of your personal space, because this is your space and you do a lot of work to keep this space clear. You've just worked on clearing your emotions. And as you've cleared your emotions, you're in a good place. And then now, boom, here comes this negative stuff, and it can actually pollute your personal space. Serious. Pollute you. And you've done all this work, and now, bam, in one person, you feel like somebody just dumped a big bucket of poop water on you. I'm sorry, it does feel like that sometimes. It's like, yuck, what? Who did this? And so you're sooner or later going to have to learn how to put this wall up. Okay, so how do you do that? What you do is you write out your boundaries. You've got to write out boundaries. And I'm serious when I say write them out. Govern your space. It's not like you're going to need that writing all of your life, but in the elementary stages of creation, you draw up a plan. There's nothing wrong with a pencil and paper or on your computer to get your thoughts organized. Because what's going to happen is if you don't take a moment to get your thoughts organized of what the rules are to govern your space, your boundaries will be crossed, and you will regret, and you will resent, and you will blame, and now your heart is in trouble again. I'm serious. As an empath, if you don't do this, I'll tell you right now, I've worked with empaths for years, and I watch them struggle. Now, I hope you're over here writing down what's on the screen, or get your phone and take a picture of it, or do a screenshot so you got this, of these boundary guidelines. So the simple of it is find the 5, 6, or 7 guiding principles that can govern your space, that they're rules. They are rules. You want to know what mine are? I bet you do. I bet you want to know what mine are, right? But it's like, I'm going to protect my space. And let me just help you with this. What is allowed and what is not allowed? And you'll realize as time goes on, you're going to update those rules because you didn't realize what could happen. You didn't realize. But you right now, if you don't have boundaries and you don't have rules, oh, you're hating it. You are hating it. I know it for sure, because how many ornery people are there in the world today? Whoa! Whoa! How many ornery people are there? Well, let's see. Let's get on social media and see how many people are getting triggered. Holy cow. It's like, calm down, human race. Jeez, everybody needs therapy and counseling and mentoring. They need emotional management training. Serious? Yeah, so we got more reckless people than ever in our lifetime, and they're just reckless with their emotions. And it's like, no, I'm not going to get shut down as an empath. I'm not. It's like, no, wall, block. Now, let me clarify something here. You see this right here? Whoa, I got to go to the right screen. You see this wall right here? Hear my language. This right here is a heart wall. I know if you do emotional management, you're going to go, no, we're supposed to get rid of heart walls. But watch. It's not in me. It's on the edge of my space. Heart walls that are inside you, that's because you've been deeply wounded and you're still healing. But out here, This is a personal space wall to be able to protect me so it can't get in my space and get in my heart. I'm going to move this boundary out here on the edge. I'm going to move it clear out there. It's like, wow, man, no, you're not getting in here. So instead of just like keeping a heart wall around your heart, let's advance the strategy and move the wall out here to the edge so you can stop it before it gets in your space. And you do not let anything junky or trashy or yucky cross that line. And if you feel something trashy, yucky, or junky come through that line of yours and your personal space, I mean, you reach out your hands, right? Reach out your hands all the way in front of you, all the way in front of you. You put your hands out in front of you. You flip your hands up. If you're like, how big is my personal space, Kirk? You put your hands out in front of you. You flip your hands up like this, and then you move your arm out and from here to my fingertips. See my fingertips? That's one of my personal spaces, right? It's one of the realms. But you want to be able to be sensitive. Like I'm holding my arms all the way out. You want to be able to be sensitive from a fingertip away. Like if something yucky comes within a fingertip, meaning like out here. So what's that? 3 feet-ish, depending on how long your arms are. If something comes in that space, you're on it. You're like, what is that? Where's that coming from? Who's this coming from? And if it's yucky, you're telling your mind, you're telling your body, no, out. I'm not kidding. In my head, if you guys could ever get in my head, sometimes it's pretty crazy in there, but I'm so vocal in my head, and I will just hold my borders like you're not getting in here. And I just don't want yucky, junky, poopy water on me. I just don't. It's like I work hard to keep my space clear. Some reckless person is not going to on me and get it all over me. It's like at the fingertips, I'm going to be really conscious at the fingertips because I don't want it to hit my skin and I don't want it to get inside my body because then it's like, oh, now it just gets a little bit more messy in there. So I moved it out to my fingertips. And then when you get out to your fingertips, then you can move 5 feet further. So you have this outside edge. Let me show you. I hope this is making sense. I know you're like, Kirk, hold on, man. I'm trying to keep up with you. Okay. Let me, wrong screen. I'm starting to figure this out. I think I'm starting to figure this out. I had to do this little techie thing. Oh, whoops. Hold on. Got to fix this. Don't need the person, but I do need a bigger bubble. Wait for it. Okay, color. Somebody call out a color. Pink. That would be cool. Let's go pink. Maybe it's too much. That's pretty intense. Okay, I gotta go different color. No, let's go a dark blue. Ooh, that's awesome. Okay, wait for it. Oh, see? Okay, that's good. Okay, so what happens is this is, so where's my heart? Hold on. Heart. Whoa, big heart. Right? Okay, let's go heart. Okay, so let's go there. Okay, so what you probably have been doing is you probably have been trying to protect your heart with a heart wall on your heart so that when people are this way, they're grumpy or whatever they are, and they're trying, this is not love. This red is being an example. Let me just make it a different thing. Let's make it orange. Okay, so this person's being grumpy, and as they're being grumpy, they're shooting this at you, And so you've been trying to protect yourself with a heart wall, and it's like the last resort because it's right before your heart. What I'm suggesting to you is, and I'll show you those boundary instructions again, is to move this out and set up a new heart wall, but it's fingertip away. It gives you a chance to correct. It gives you a chance to recalibrate. It gives you a chance to adjust before it actually smacks into your heart and you get poopy water on you. And so you got it out here on your edge. But then as you get good at this, when I say you go 5 feet further, you're going to find yourself being able to block it out here further. And you don't need this wall because you got it, because it's clear out here on the edge. So your heart now cannot have a heart wall. And so your heart can be open. That's what I train people how to do. But you don't let go of your heart wall until you have a personal space wall towards that individual. It's like a shield because that person is reckless. And that person that is reckless, this person that's over here, this person that's reckless and just has this energy, that might be your spouse. It might be your kids or a kid. Might be a friend, might be a neighbor, might be a boss, might be an employee or a coworker. I don't know. It could be somebody, or maybe it's the devil. I don't know. But you're learning how to protect yourself because we're not all just lovey-dovey and we get to be vulnerable and we get to get trashed on. No, we get to protect ourselves as empaths because we're sensitive. And yes, we are sensitive, but we also have a strategy of protection. And we're not oblivious, we are conscious. We're not just easily swayed, we're intentional. And we're not just something that people can just dump on. No, we're very focused with high standards. You see, I believe we need to redefine the empath world so that there's respect. But what happens, though, is us as empaths, we're the ones who get to straighten up. We're the ones who get to straighten up. We're the ones who get to get ourselves in order and not think that we're weird or think that something's wrong with us, but that we raise our standards, get our emotions and mind clear so we can focus and we can protect our space, and then we can be accurate in how we're interpreting people. And our accuracy is what astounds people. They're just like, how did you know? How did you pick up on this? I will never forget. I was down in Las Vegas. I was hired to go to an event in Las Vegas and speak at their event. I was the last speaker, kind of like the wrap up of their whole event that was going up, and it was fantastic. Oh, it was so cool. It was so fun. It was so fun. After the event, I'm out in the hall. And then people, after they're leaving the event, then a whole bunch of people are just piling up around me, just wanted to talk and ask questions and talk and ask questions. And I had brought up that I know how to read body language. And I was teaching them some points to look at when you're reading body language. And I told them, I go, well, people call me a body language master, but I wasn't going to tell them that the backing to that is an empathic ability, right? And so this person's standing in front of me and they said, you know what? I'm really struggling with sales. And before the person even spoke, I'm already reading them. I'm already 1, 2, 3, 4 levels deep, already reading and trying to help this person, this man, with his business so he can be successful and he can take care of his family and they can go on vacation and buy his kids new shoes, right? Like, I'm there to help. And so as he was talking, he lifted up his hand and I saw one of his fingernails on his fingers that had been chewed a lot. And within one physical aspect of his hand, it gave me the accuracy that I needed. I already had read information about him, but I was looking for confirming points, and I found enough confirming points, and then I went for it. I interrupted him, and I said, sir, before you finish your sentence, let me ask you a couple questions. And his wife was standing right there. And my wife was staying there, and I started asking questions, very precise questions. And immediately his eyes bug out. They're just like, what? And immediately his wife is like, how did you pick up that? How did you know this? And I called out what his struggle was before he even said it. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I got his attention because of accuracy. Not because I said, I'm an empath. I don't claim that. I don't say that out to people. I don't call myself an empath in front of people. I don't need a title. Empath is a way of being. I don't need to put empath on my business card. Because if I have to say I'm an empath, maybe that means you're not that confident and not that accurate. And you have to tell people. So in that moment, that guy didn't know I was an empath. He didn't know. But my accuracy caught his attention, and he listened and he goes, wow, how did you pick up on that? How did you know that? And I said, that doesn't matter. What matters is I know what you can do to unlock your greatness. I know what you can do. And this is what I suggest. And because I know techniques to activate the functions of the mind, I selected one of those techniques. And then I gave it to him and I explained it to him what to do. Because as an empath, I can see the problem. And then I have a menu of techniques that I know all activate the functions of a human being. And I identified where his function was deficient. I then selected the technique, gave him the technique with the steps, and he stood there just like with tears in his eyes going, how did you do that? That was exactly what I needed. And his wife has tears coming out of his eyes, and they're like, that was so fast. And I didn't finish it up by saying, yeah, the reason why I did this is because I'm an empath. No, I don't need to say all that. I don't need to call myself an empath. I know what I can do, but I don't need to call attention to that, because it's not about me getting praise. It's not about, oh, Kirk the empath. That's not what it's about. It's about serving that person, helping that person. And the accuracy is what created the credibility. The accuracy. When you decide to clean up on the inside and to be able to have a new standard of no negativity, zero. Raise your standard, zero negativity, and you fight for that. You defend your space in a world of negativity. You become the realm of positive energy, of accuracy. And that accuracy then is used to serve people. And then when you serve people and you're so accurate, they're just like, what? That they go and take action on what you guided them to do to help them. And now they're just like, that was amazing. And they don't question what it is you gave them as a step or as a technique or as an action step. They don't question it because it just went right to their core. You see, if I could go back 10 years, 12 years ago and talk to myself with my understanding, I would drill into my mind. Get your head clear, Duncan. Get your emotions clear and focus on accuracy. When you're working with people, don't waste a minute of their life. Don't ever doubt your advice because you've got accuracy. Man, whoa, if I had 12 years of that, wow. If I had 1 year, if I had 6 more months of just being further ahead than where I am right now, man, it's just, you could help so many people. This is what matters to you in your empath abilities and whatever advancement you're going to move through, you're not going to know that this is important because there's not somebody out there that I have found that talks about this. They go into this really strange world of stuff. And I appreciate what everybody out there is trying to do to explain this, but we must have higher standards so that our abilities can be at their top level. Because you never know when that friend calls you or that child comes to you or your spouse turns to you and says, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" And it is an extremely important conversation. So I share this with you. I hope we're going the right direction. I hope we're going the right direction for you and what you're doing and what you're thinking and what you're feeling. And I'm not layering it on heavy. I'm just drawing lines in the sand of standards. Now, let's go back to this for just a moment because I got more to share. Okay, let's go back to this. So I hope this makes sense. Distinctions means you practice asking your mind, where's this coming from? Who is this? Meaning the information that's coming to you, and the information that comes to you is thoughts and feelings. Whose thoughts and feelings are coming to me? What direction is it coming from? That you inquire the direction. And that's all these lines is the distinction of the direction the information is coming from, so you can identify who it is. And so that way you can compartmentalize it, and also that you begin to create boundaries so that you're not gummed up and plugged up with a bunch of random information coming from random sources. That is not going to serve you. You must organize the way in which the information comes into your personal space. And I'm showing you this again in case you didn't get it. The simple of this is you define safety boundaries of what's allowed and what's not allowed. So you're governing your space so that you don't get overwhelmed. You can manage what is coming in. Manage it. Manage it. Okay, here's the next screen. It's got a couple lines to this one too. What affects your personal energy? Your personal space. The blue space around this person you see on the screen, that personal space, that blue area is energy. But let's define it. Energy is a collection of thoughts and emotions. So the space around you, your personal space, you could call is your energy field. And in that energy field is information, and that information comes from thoughts and feelings. So around you is a collection of thoughts and feelings. So the quality of this energy around you, which is your thoughts and feelings, the quality of that, number one, is affected by the way you see yourself. Your opinion of yourself can either lower the quality or raise the quality, and it has a direct impact on that blue area around that person, which around you, fingertip to fingertip, when your arms are all the way out, that space has you in it. You are not just inside your skin. Your life force that's inside your skin radiates. It radiates through your skin. Your skin does not stop what's going on inside of you. It does not contain it on the inside of your skin. Your skin, it doesn't stop it. Your bones don't stop it. Your skin doesn't stop it. What goes on inside of you radiates out of you about pretty strongly for about 5 to 6 feet. And then another 3 to 5 feet, it drops down a little bit. And then another 3 to 5 feet, it drops down a little bit more. But everything that's going on under your skin radiates out. So your personal energy, the personal energy around you is affected, number one, by how you see yourself. Number two, what you say about yourself. Because what you say has power. What you feel or how you see yourself, what you see and say about yourself has power. And it changes this field around you. Now, why is this important? I'm going to go through all these, but let me show you why this is so important. Is because, where's my diagram? Right. Oh, here it is right here. Because if your space around you is a little cluttered and it's a little goobered up because of the way you think about yourself and the way you talk about yourself, well, then you're not going to interpret this information that's coming to you accurately. It's just not going to happen accurately. So not only are you attempting to read the information accurately, you're providing a space that when this information comes to you and it passes through your space, because see, it leaves their space and it can come to you. You can read it, but what happens is the reading or the interpreting is from their space to your space. And so there's a standard for you in the space around you to clean up this personal space. Okay, I hope this makes sense because I know it's important. I hope you get it. Okay, so number one, how you see yourself, what you say about yourself affects the personal energy around you and can make it a little cluttered, or it can clear it up. How you measure other people, or another way to say it is how you judge them. How you measure people. If you're a hard-nosed, brutal, at condemning people, your space around you is going to be pretty cluttered. What directions you imagine yourself going. If you imagine yourself going somewhere awesome and your life is going in a good direction, your personal space gets in alignment. What type of words do you use when you talk? That affects it. What type of information do you consume through videos, audio, music, movies? Do you watch stuff that pollutes your personal space and distorts you? Well, you probably should stop that, right? Not probably. You ought to stop that. What type of foods you eat? That'll distort your space. You already know that one. And then sleep. Oh, empaths, we need good quality sleep. You know what happens when we sleep? Do you know what happens? When we sleep, we actually process and release everybody else's stuff. Sleeping, taking a nap is like the best thing ever. It's like the best thing ever because it just like clears the plate, clears everything. It's so good. So good, especially when you get quality sleep. If you don't get quality sleep, man, you wake up the next day and you feel like you got like 1,000 pounds on you. It's so intense, right? But yeah, we need quality sleep. Oh, by the way, with quality sleep, black out your windows, put black tape on all the little lights in your room, get deep, dark space so you can go deep in your sleep. It's super healing for you. Okay, and then the level of physical activity. If you're inactive, then you get sluggish. If you're active, then wow, you're on it. So again, this is a way of conditioning you in your performance. Now, maybe this wasn't even on your mind. You just wanted to know how to read people. Well, you'll be able to when you take care of self. This is like personal development for empaths. It's kind of crazy, but it's so true. It is so true. Now, I want to bring this up. If you got a biff with somebody, when I say biff, I mean you're mad at somebody. I got to get an arrow here. Hold on. And if you're mad at somebody and that being mad, you're mad at them. That one distortion towards them, you're going to want to clean it up pretty soon, because one distortion towards a person, it will start to spread. It will move to another person and it will move to another person. It'll start to spread. I know, just like a virus, it will spread. It's real. This is real. If you've got issues with a person, you can't stop it from getting in between you and other people, because you're an empath and you can sense and feel what other people are feeling and what they're going through, but you also project feelings really fast. So in the Duncan home, my energy is really strong. And Kim would tell you the exact same thing. If she was here, she would tell you the same thing, that my energy is really strong because I get in tune with people. I do a lot of coaching, I do a lot of mentoring, a lot of training, and I get really in tune with people. So it's very, very focused. So there's a lot of energy going out and a lot of information coming back, right? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And if something gets in my head that, like twists me up, my energy shifts. And within 2 seconds, yes, within 2 seconds, I got Kim walking in my office going, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "Well, something happened." And I'll be like, "Well, hold on. I just had a thought." And she goes, "I know, I felt it." So as an empath, it's really good because you can read and sense and understand people and help them. But at the same time, once you get a little twisted up, boom, it goes out. And so that's why I bring up this whole conversation about, your feelings and thoughts towards people. Where's my little X thing right here? Because what happens to you as an empath is once you get a little, gummed up towards one person, you feel the hurt and the pain and the frustration. And then what happens is you start to actually feel it from everybody. But it's not from everybody. It just feels like it's from everybody. Empaths have to be very careful to not exaggerate. But to an empath, it feels real. An empath can have a struggle with one person, but it feels like, seriously, it feels like to them a struggle with everybody. And so an empath will get defensive and really protective. But an empath will say, everyone doesn't like me. They all are against me. But that's because an empath, they feel the disrupt between them and one person, but because of the sensitivity of an empath, it feels like everybody's that way. But it's not, but it feels like it's everyone. I remember feeling this, and I remember going through this, and I remember having to work through this and go, it's not everybody, but it feels like everybody. And I had to learn how to shut that down, or I felt like I had to be protective and defensive against everything. And so what happens is an empath can get scared easily, and an empath can get overwhelmed easily, and an empath can also get overwhelmed, scared, nervous, feel like everybody's against them, because an empath, what we feel, it feels all the way around us. And so we have to be super careful to create that distinction. It's like, no, it's one person. And you keep it as that one situation, and you work on that situation to heal it, to improve it from your side. Because you can't change people, but you can change the way you think about them. And that can begin to create that healing. But empaths, they have a tendency I can hear it. I can hear when an empath is exaggerating, because it's these all-encompassing words. Always, never, everyone, all the time. And so when I hear that language, it's like, it's not actually true, but they do feel that, but it's not true. It's just one person, but the sensation is it's everywhere. So for me, as an empath, super important that I can compartmentalize the challenge and problem so it does not take over my whole entire world. Because I know the level of sensitivity that you have. And I know the level of sensitivity I have. And one thing can spread all the way through everything. And it just feels like everything's bad. Everything's broken. Everything's going to come apart. And we're all going to die. And we're all going to starve. And we're all going to feel lonely. That's another thing that empaths wrestle with, is because when there's one disconnection with one person, they feel like everybody disconnected from them. And they're completely alone within one small disconnect. So empaths wrestle with this all-encompassing feeling. But it's not true. It just feels that way. So my sanity as an empath, I've had to go, no, it's just this one moment. But my senses go, no, it's everywhere. No, it's one moment. It's just one. It's not everybody. And so you be careful of that, because you can exaggerate and accentuate and over dramatize this one little moment. Keep it contained as one little moment. And then you may want to practice that and go, it feels like everybody's this way. And it's like, hold on. Kirk talked about this. Who actually it is? Who is it? Oh, it's actually just between me and one person. It's not everybody. It's just one person. Tell me if you got that. Did you get that? Type a comment and just tell me you got it. Because if I could follow you around and just hang out with you for a day, I'll buy lunch, right? If I could hang out with you for a day and buy you lunch, and we could just drive and do your errands and whatever you're doing for work or whatever, maybe you're going on vacation, I'll go with you. And we could just talk. I would catch you sooner or later taking a singular moment that becomes a global issue. And it's like, no, keep it to the singular moment. Trust me, your sanity will come back, and you'll have less overwhelm, because overwhelm comes from it's everything about this one thing. And then there's another one thing, and then it's everything again. And then within 2 or 3 things, you can't function because you think the world is going to blow up tomorrow and you're not packed yet. And so it's like, bring it down, singular activities, singular experiences. That one took me a while to figure that one out. But I find when I coach people who are empaths and they're trying to get their life in order, that's something we have to address, and to be able to practice creating that singular moment. And so again, if this does make sense, will you just click the button? So there's no hand to raise. I'm getting Zoom and this one mixed up, but just put a comment in there like, got it, Kirk. It makes total sense. Now, over here on the right-hand side, I think it's the right-hand side of your screen. Somewhere on your screen, I just pulled something up. If you are an empath and you want some coaching, like one-on-one, I do have 5 open appointments between now and the end of, I think it goes to the 1st of October. I've got 5 open appointments. And if you want, you and I could talk. Now we're going to be doing it across, video. It's not in person, but we'll use Zoom, which is video conferencing, and it'll be a fantastic appointment. I promise you. I will make sense of what's going on in your life, because I get this. I've been doing this for 16 years, right? I can help you make sense. And whatever questions you have, or whatever level you want to go to, boy, I'm here. Boy, I would love to just have some one-on-one time with you. And so if you do want to have some one-on-one conversation, and I give all my attention to you, nobody else, it's just you and me. I can use all my mind and just help you with whatever's going on, money issues, relationship issues, physical fitness issues, business issues, your gift and talent challenges, whatever you got. I know how to find it and what's up. And then I know what technique will unlock that to improve it. I can help you. That's only if you would want to have a one-on-one conversation with me. So if it is something that's, I want to do that, then you can just click here to register button and just click that. It'll take you to the registration page. And then after you register, it'll give you the calendar afterwards. And so, the appointment's already preset. So you'll have to pick the one that will fit best for you. And then from that, then I'll get a message. And then on that day, boom, we'll connect and we'll have a fantastic conversation. Now, here's the thing. We'll record that because there's going to be a lot of great training in it in those 2 hours. And then you can go back and watch it again and watch it again. Watch it 2 more times after the initial appointment. You will get so much great insight. I promise you. So that's available to you. If you'd love to do that, just click that. And I look forward to working with you on that. Now, if that freaks you out, like, no, Kirk's going to see my body language, blah, 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 he's going to know about me. I'm not looking for your hidden stuff. I'm looking for what you can do to improve your life. I can help. That's if you're ready for that, right? If you're ready for it. But if you're ready, boy, super great opportunity to be able to do that. So, and then if you think about it later, oh, okay, now I want to do that. Let me show you what the link is to go to. Let me just pull up a screen here and I can show you. Okay, so here, let me just type this for you. The link is 3k.2/Kirk. So that's you type that in like in your browser on your computer or on your phone, 3ke.2/Kirk. And if you go there, like let's say tomorrow or next week or sometime in the future, it's like, I think I'm ready for that. Let's do that. Then go here to that link and that'll take you to the page. And then you can choose the open appointment that's there. Cool. Awesome. All right. I just want to put that in front of you because I know for me, when I have one-on-ones with my mentor, it makes a huge difference because then I can ask my questions. I can get answers to my questions. And then now I got an answer to that question. I can move on to the next questions. It's super cool. It's amazing how that is so helpful to be able to have progress, when you get to talk to somebody who can understand what you're talking about. Cool, huh? All right. So I just want to show that to you. And when it's time and ready, just go there and register. Super cool. Awesome. Okay. So let's wrap this together. Holy cow. It's already 7:35. If you're learning something that is helpful or beneficial to what you've been going through, will you put a comment in the chat box here and just tell me what it is that is really standing out for you right now that has been very helpful? Because I would like to create some more of this and you tell me what is really helping you and what topic or part that I brought up that that was just exactly what you needed. That helps me know where I could pull that content together and make it available. So I'd love to help and just give me that heads up with what part's standing out to you the most. Cool? Okay, cool. Now, the last part here that I want to cover, to me, this is like the big one, right? Because as an empath, it's like, okay, I can read other people's information, their thoughts. They're not, sometimes people can be like so specific, you can actually hear their thoughts, but what they feel, what they've been going through, what's been happening here. So what's the whole reason? Well, it's to give advice, right? Of how to help them in their marriage, help them with their kids, but it's advice. You're not counseling. This isn't counseling. This is suggestions. It's advice. Now, if you're a counselor, well, then you're a counselor. If you're a therapist, you're in a therapy session with them. But this whole improvement of your gift of being an empath is really giving you an opportunity to help other people repair portions of their life that are disrupted or they've been broken, hurt or broken. On the other side, there's people that you'll talk to who are looking for an opportunity, or they're stuck in the progress of their goals. So you got both sides. You got opportunities and goals. On the other side, you have feeling broken or feeling hurt from things that have happened. So as an empath, you can help in both categories and all the categories in between, because we as empaths, what happens is we're able to sense where there is misunderstanding, and we become the outside perspective. We become the neutral look at what's happening. Where people can't see inside of them, we're helping them look inside of them. And so when I wake up in the morning, my intention is whoever I get a chance to help, I know I'm going to help them reach their goals, jump in on that opportunity to help them see clearly how to do that, or help mend or repair a hurt or a spot where they feel broken. So it's like my intention is set. It's like I'm actively looking for opportunities to serve people. Now, but Kirk, doesn't that overwhelm you with all the people? No, I'm organized. I'm an organized empath. That is a rare thing. An organized empath, which means that I have lines and limits to how much I give of myself. I don't deplete myself. I will not run myself completely down, because I will get sick. I will get weak and I'll get sick. And now I've got a sore throat for a week, or I just know it's like I can get to a certain point and then that's it. So I'm an organized empath. And that means I'm conscious of how I'm going to help people. Now, if you notice, I said that I use Zoom to have conversations with people. So I don't have to drive to people's houses. I don't have, and I schedule conversations, and not all the time are people, buying a mentoring appointment from me. I help all kinds of people in all different ways, but I'm always available to help. But I've got to be organized, because if I'm not organized, I'm going to get taken advantage of. Empaths get taken advantage of because we have such a giving, caring persona about us. It's like we just want to give and we want to care and we want to stick with it until we really help the person. And that could be 4-hour conversations. Whoa, that could be the only thing on your mind is this other person all the time. And I remember being that way. I remember giving my all and taking time away from my family and letting people call me at all hours of the evening. I remember being unorganized. I remember just letting people walk across my personal boundary and just whatever. And I thought I was doing the right thing. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. But it was ultimately draining me. It was draining me. And I was becoming unhealthy. I was tired all the time. I was going from one sickness to the next sickness. And it was just like, my brain was spinning because I was unorganized. Like I didn't have rules to govern it. And I didn't have ways to manage it that I could recover from what happened during the day. I could repair. I wasn't taking care of myself. Empaths have a tendency to let their personal health go to the mess, just get messy, And empaths have the tendency to put their family second and helping other people first. You know what I'm talking about. And empaths also have the tendency to give everything to everybody. And I'm going to say it, empaths have the tendency to be broke, like financially broke. And they're broke with time. They don't have time because they think if they just give enough time, somehow it's going to compensate them back. And I've seen a lot of empaths really struggle with this. And they didn't draw boundaries. They didn't have a line. They didn't pay attention to their health. And they didn't manage what was going on. They didn't. And it's sad to see that. And I know what I went through, and it was painful. It was painful. But now, man, boy, I've got how I do things, right? I've got my boundaries. I've got my personal borders, which are very clear, very clear. I have my structure of how I'll communicate with people. I'll have how far I'll talk to them and how much I'll share. And I have how much I'll listen. You know those people that just ramble on forever? And you're like, are we going to get anywhere? And you want to jump in and say something, but then they talk for like 45 minutes in like 15 circles. It's like, where are they going? I've learned when to interrupt those people, when to like interject and go, hold on. We gotta do something with this. My confidence has gone up because I know what to do in these different areas so it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't drain me. But not everybody knows how to do that. Not everybody knows how to be organized. They don't know how to do that. And so then they burn out. They get depleted. And then they resent that they were kind to people and went to help people, and they wore themselves out. And they see that their kids are being affected, their marriage is being affected. And here their empath gift, I don't like to say this, but their empath gift starts to morph into becoming a curse. And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It doesn't have to happen that way. So you hear me bringing up these different parts that are not being managed or considered. And I hope you're taking notes on what I just brought up for you to have personal boundaries, for you to have a clear intention of what you're doing with this gift. It's not just something that shows up once in a while. You really are intentionally going to help people. You're going to help them. In fact, you're going to Art of Mentoring, right? And in Art of Mentoring, I'm going to help you get organized and build a structure about how to have a conversation with people and just teach you some incredible, just absolutely incredible insights of how to serve people. I mean, you're on your way to Art of Mentoring and it's like, you don't want to miss this and you want to be live because of what happens when it's live. You're right. You want to be live in that experience. So we're on the journey here together to be able to help develop what really is going to serve you to be organized. That part's awesome. So as I bring these things up, I'm not bringing them up and then just going, oh, and good luck, go find them. No, you're going to find this in the Art of Mentoring, and you're registered for that, which is super, super cool and smart move, by the way. That's why I wanted to do this training. It's like a way of saying, good job. Thank you for registering. Good job. You're going to love this. This is like the pre-training to the Art of Mentoring. And oh, believe me, we've got some great, great rocks to uncover and turn over to see some great things that you're going to learn here about teaching and helping people. So the getting organized part, what happens is there are some people who go to Art of Mentoring and they're just like, I'm in, I'm on, man, I love this. Kirk, what do I do next? I got this. I love Art of Mentoring. It's like, I'm ready. I'm chomping at the bit. Let's do something. Well, to consider this and be able to go, okay, what is that next step after Art of Mentoring? What is that? Now, I hope that in your mind, you see yourself getting organized and being actively engaged in serving people, but in an organized way. Not that it takes from your life, but that it's an incredible gift to your life. Like I mentioned in Empath Training 101, I really believe that this is a gift. That not only can you serve people, but it also can help you take care of your family. Be able to make ends meet, right? Be able to buy those groceries, buy those new shoes for your kids, and be able to go do something fun. Be able to take care of your family, because you could be a full-on coach, a full-on mentor. You really can. And if you're still thinking about it, you keep thinking about it. But for those of you who are like, I got this, Kirk. I want to do this, and I want to do this really good. Okay, for those of you who are like, you're on, and you get where you're going with this, and you know this is going to not only get organized, but you're going to get super clear with your intention. I welcome you to the level of mentoring. And it is an organized process. And it has steps. It has a way of working, and you are able to follow great systems to keep yourself safe and to keep yourself organized, right? That next level. This is after Art of Mentoring. So what I'm trying to do is I'm like trying to project where you're going to keep going. It's not just get to Art of Mentoring and go, oh, that's really cool. Thanks for the information. And then that's it. You may be the one that the spark happens. And it's like, wow, I got this. I want to move forward. I really want to understand this at a deep level. And I don't want to take years to really figure this out. Now, for those of you who, if it is you, and you know you're on a path here, something you want to consider is learning techniques. And at Art of Mentoring, I'm going to teach you techniques. And after Art of Mentoring, what's going to happen is you're going to hopefully start holding appointments with people to be able to teach them these techniques. And if you don't remember what a technique is, it's what you teach the person, which is a step-by-step process that up-levels an individual's mind settings. And I'm going to explain this more to you at Art of Mentoring, but you want to learn techniques that like you heard me say, I have a menu of techniques. I select the one that I can tell the person is experiencing deficiency in, and then that technique serves that person because they're able to activate their mind. So at Art of Mentoring, you're going to learn techniques, but after Art of Mentoring, you're going to put them into play. You're going to be mentoring people. And after Art of Mentoring, what happens is you're going to be actively supporting, guiding, mentoring people and loving it. Then I know what's going to happen. You're going to be like, okay, what's after this? Like what happens after this? Well, I can tell you right now, what it's called is The Apprentice, mentoring for mentors. And this is for those who are committed to the experience of mentoring, like you just want it. And you know you literally are on the right path, on the right journey, heading the right direction. And the most important part of all this is to get you organized in a way that your confidence level is through the ceiling. And so that you don't fear talking to people, you know you're being accurate. Because I would love to continue to train you. No kidding. Maybe starting now. Like before Art of Mentoring. Like instead of thinking about the apprentice program after Art of Mentoring, what if this was something that you could look at and go, wait a second, maybe this is something that I can work on right now because Kirk, I'm in. I'm going to love Art of Mentoring. I can already tell, but I already can tell I want to move forward and I want your direct training, Kirk. Because you know, here I can teach so much, right? And I feel like I packed the time really good and be able to teach you, but I've got years of experience that I want to pass on to someone. I want to pass on more of what I know that has really helped me understand people and really unlock their lives. because there's an opportunity to change people's lives to where they do better. And nothing tickles me more than to see someone become successful with their own gifts and talents. But sometimes they need a key to unlock it. Sometimes they need direct training. And to be able to have that up close and personal experience at that higher level. So I'm speaking to you in a way of saying, hey, if this is you and you're in on this and you know this is what you want to do, then let's get started as soon as possible. So what this is called the Apprentice Program. It's mentoring for mentors, and it's at a higher level. I know you haven't been to Art of Mentoring yet, but it's just a couple weeks away. But if you're ready, let's get started as soon as possible on you getting organized. Let's just cut to the chase. Let's get there and get you into those levels of getting organized so that you can do an incredible work and follow your, I'm going to call it, your calling to serve people. And if you're in a place right now where it's like, whoa, man, I don't know about this. Maybe this is where you can invest some time and some resources so that you can have the training you need to be able to carry your family through the changing of the times that's happening. You know, because with the world changing, I just heard of a person this morning, one of my good friends said, hey, I just got laid off. I was like, what happened? They said, well, I had a job, and then they got one of those government loans, and then they hired me back, and then the money all gone, and now they laid me off again. Like, people, it's uncertain out there. It's like, what kind of skills do you really want as you move forward? What kind of skills would those be? Well, I can tell you what those are. Mentoring skills. People out there in the world right now need mentoring. And you're going to go to Art of Mentoring and learn how to be a great mentor. But I'll tell you right now, this apprentice level, this is like, let me take 16 years and refine it down for you and just save you years of practicing. So something to think about, you know, if you're in a place where you have resources to pull from, this apprentice program would change your learning curve to be a very fast experience of understanding high-level mentoring. And if you like that, then this is perfect for you. And I know it's not for everybody, but maybe it's for you. And so this experience, what it looks like, how it works is this, is that every Monday, I have a mastermind. And this mastermind is going to be a place of being able to train you and be able to show you what to do to be able to build and structure your mentoring program to be at the highest level possible. Every Monday for 4 months. And then during the 4 months, the training videos that you're going to receive, the checklists, the documents, the structure, the diagrams, the path that I can give you is going to take, 5 years of experience and shorten it down so that you can see what not to do and you can see what to focus on. Now, again, it's up to you where you're at in this progress, because for me, man, I spent 16 years getting where I'm at right now. And if I could cut out a majority of that, yeah, I would have learned from experience, but it's like, what if I could sit down and learn it from somebody? I could pick up the pace and I could already be in that experience where I'm benefiting from it. So I just wanted to bring this up and be able to put this in front of you, that if you are that person who knows you want to do this, and I am your mentor to teach you this, and you want to know what I know, and I can teach you what I know, then register for this program. Register for this. You're going to hear this again at Art of Mentoring. I'm going to show it to you again, because maybe you need to think about it a little bit, or maybe not. Maybe it's like, man, I want to do this. And here's something. If you're like, Kirk, I'm going to do this, I want to work with you personally, this would be super cool. I want to work with the mastermind and work with you. So here's something crazy. If you decided to do this, I'm not kidding. If you decided to do this week, this apprentice program, what happens is I'm going to give you 10 scholarships to the art of mentoring. Serious, 10 scholarships to the art of mentoring so that you can have your friend go. You can have somebody on one of your top people on your team go so they can get the skills. You now turn into this person who is placing scholarships with people who it's like, boy, this will serve this person. This will help this person. And you're changing people's lives just with this extra bonus of 10 art of mentoring scholarships. I know that's crazy. But if you're willing to jump in on The Apprentice, I know you get this. And you're like, man, we got to tell people. We got to help people. And now you're going to have 10 scholarships, but you got to give them out before Art of Mentoring. It's got to be for this next Art of Mentoring, which is just coming up in a couple weeks. But that way, you now can call people up or text them and go, you're not going to believe this. I got you a ticket. You're going. And they'll be like, what? Are you serious? You're like, yeah, get in there. You need some help, man. You got to understand this. Because if we don't understand this, how are we going to help people? But now you got 10 scholarships to do that. But that means you register for the apprentice program this week by Friday at 3:00. By Friday at 3:00. So if you need to go look at your resources and go, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Get her done. Let's get started before Art of Mentoring. Let's get it started so you can have a jump start on getting organized. And then you can use your gifts and talents to change people's lives in a very intentional way. And let me give you just one last little secret. You decide to do this. From me, you're going to learn how to interpret with accuracy. The most important part to get you into a place and condition into a place that you can be a mentor and an empath with accuracy, because that's what matters to me. And I know that matters to you. And how cool would it be to be able to be at that level so quick, right? So cool. It is so fun. It is an absolute cool experience. And so if you're in, you can click the register button there and you can go and get registered for this. And then as soon as you register for the apprentice program, my team will tell me that you're in. And then what I will do, is I will personally call you and we're going to have a chat, because I want to welcome you to this whole experience, right? Of this apprentice program. It's right there on the right-hand side of your screen, right? You can see that. There's a button right there. Seriously, you just click that button and get registered. But I'll call you personally. We're going to talk because I'm going to lay out the plan for you. And most importantly, I want to get to know you a little bit better, right? Just right from the very start. Because we're on a journey here for the next 4 months, right? So cool. Accuracy. You want to be able to get to the point of being able to be accurate in what you're sensing from the person. Accuracy. Super cool. Super cool. So this program, the apprentice program, it is replacing the intuitive mentoring program. And it is replacing the elite program. For those of you who have been to elite and been to intuitive mentoring, I have made some adjustments and I've upped the experience in a very gigantic way. Very gigantic way. So those of you who are going, whoa, is this the same or this different? This is an advanced course. Advanced above intuitive mentoring and above the elite program. And this is to get you organized at the top level. And we'll be talking every Monday for 4 months. And there will be a lot of action, because that's where you learn the most, right? And we need to find out what we need to adjust and what we need to correct and what we need to improve and fine tune in your mentoring skills. Now, I know that this is going to be a very intimate group of people. And if you're on and you're in, then this week before Friday at 3:00, register. And I know I got the button right here, but let me go ahead and show you. Let me go ahead and show you what let me just give this to you. Because in case it's like, well, tomorrow you're like, oh man, I got to do that, right? And you're like, oh, what was that link? I can't remember the link. Okay, so let me just type this for you here, what that is, so that you can write this down, what that link is, and then I'll show you. /apprentice mentoring. I hope I spelled this right. So here's the link right here. There we go. Click the button. All right, there. So there at the bottom of the screen, that's the direct link to go to is 3ke.2/apprentice mentoring. So if tomorrow, the next day, because today's, whoa, the time is flying by, right? If you're in on this, just make sure it's Friday before 3 o'clock. Because if it's Friday before 3 o'clock, yes, you get these extra 10 scholarships, because then boom, boom, you got to be texting people, calling people, getting them in on Art of Mentoring, right? And, but yeah, there's the link. Take a picture of it. Take a picture of it. If you got to go get your resources figured out, you can, and then get on there to register. As soon as you register, my team will notify me and I will be calling you, and we'll be talking very, very, very soon. If you know you're on right now, go to the right side of the screen and click the click here to register button. So we are ready to go as working together through the mastermind that I have. Now, the last part here, I just want to cover before we sign off here tonight. And I hope you've enjoyed our training. I really do. I've thought about you a lot, and I thought about what would be the most important thing to talk about as we do this work tonight. I hope you've enjoyed this bonus training. Now, this screen right now you have in front of you is what I've created. This is my own creation here of the equation that we have talked about tonight. It's tonight because the sun went down. Wherever you live, the sun went down, or it's going down, so I called it tonight. But this is the equation I work from. And this is what I have found to be the 3 key elements: imagery, language, and emotion. And with these 3 key elements, I can change, and I also can change my experience in this world. These are the 3 key elements of creation and the 3 key elements of change. If I exercise these 3 key elements, then on the inside, I can advance and transform into what I want to become. And if I exercise these 3 key elements on the outside of me, I can create in this life that I have. When you come to the Art of Mentoring and when you register for the apprentice program, you will see me come from this diagram and teach you the deep intricacies of these functions. You have them and I have them. And with all the distracting things of this world, we forget to improve upon them, to upgrade and fine-tune our language so it's language of creation and language of healing, and to be able to create imagery of creation and imagery of healing, and to be able to manage those emotions, because there is tremendous power inside those emotions that can destroy a marriage, or it can create a union that creates a bond that will never be separated. These 3 powers that you have inside of you, you want to learn how to govern them and to be able to improve upon them in how they're functioning in your life. I am very intentional about what I teach, why I teach it, because I know what it does. I've seen it be destructive when it's reckless, and I've seen it be creative when it's managed. That's the cool part. So when you register for the apprentice program, you know that I have a plan for you and that it's organized and your confidence is going to go through the ceiling because you feel so clear and focused on the inside. You're going to love it. And for all of you going to the Art of Mentoring, it is going to be off the charts. So when you register for the apprentice program and you get those 10 scholarships, be sure that those are sent out and those are identified. My office will work with you in coordinating to make sure that all those people that receive those scholarships will then be able to be have the information about our mentoring sent to them. So my team will work with you when that happens. Cool. Get your resources put together, jump in the apprentice program. Let's get after it. So super cool to have you here and be able to talk to you. Big hugs, big slobbery kisses to all of you. I know that kind of sounds weird, but big hugs to you. And empaths are awesome, right? Right? I mean, put a comment in there. It's like, we got this. We got this. Thank you. Super cool to share with you. I look forward to sharing more with you as we move through the future here together. Awesome. All right. See you guys. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye. What are you guys doing? You guys are still logged in. You guys are awesome. I'm like watching, like, what are they doing? How come they're still here? And maybe you know that I kind of hang around for a little bit afterwards. Hey, since you're kind of hanging around and you haven't left the room yet, I wanted to show you something else that I didn't show. Let me pull this up. Okay, so this is like a little training after the training. Okay, but you gotta give me just a second. I gotta just adjust something on here. They wanted to see the most common mistakes. That was one of the things they wanted to see. Oh, you wanted to hold on. Like 3 people asked for it. Oh, well. Okay, hold on just a second. So this is off the record, right? You have to take it like I'm off the record. Like I'm not training right now. I'm finished with the training. But I guess some people wanted to see this because you can see that I covered this tonight about, can't create distinctions, not able to slow the incoming information, don't know how to clear, lack personal structure, no clear boundaries, don't know how to hold to the boundaries, misinterpret the information. Did I spell misinterpret right? No. I can't see that little red line. I think hooked on phonics, I think it sounded good when I wrote it. The information that comes in. So did you get it now? I think somebody was looking for this. But I got something else I want to show you. I got something else. And I was going to show it, but I didn't. But I'm going to show it right now. So if you have a minute, let me just show you something. I don't know who's still on. I can't see your names. So now remember, this is after the training, right? Okay. So let me show you something. This is super important. Now, because it's after the training, I can go a different level, right? Okay, let me show you something. Okay, so I don't know what background you have, like if you're religious or not, if what you think about God and the devil, or Jesus and the devil. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I'm going to show you something here that I think would be really important for you to know about. So let me just show you this, okay? Right here, of course, this is your brain. This wavy line represents your voice, and this is your heart. Now, you see this first bubble around the person. That's personal space, right? And then this is the extended, and then this is the next level out here. Now, I don't know if you believe that there's a devil. I do. And I know he's real because I can detect him. I can sense when he is around, and I know what his energy feels like, the devil or any one of his minions. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because if you do have some spiritual backing, this would be very good for you to know. The devil likes to throw negative thought bombs at us. And he tosses in this negative comment into our personal space, and it can get into our head. And as it gets into our head, we now have this negative thought. And you know what that does? It causes let me see if I can make this happen here. It causes our field of energy to shrink. Negativity shrinks our field of energy. And each time a negative thought gets thrown into our head and we ponder on it and we think about it, the devil or his minion can get closer and throw another one. Now, they can't come in because this space is good, healthy energy, positive, healthy, encouraging, creative. But the devil knows what he's got to do to drop this protective field. He knows what he's got to do. He's been doing it for years. What he does is he takes a thought bomb, a negative thought bomb, and he throws it in here to create fear and to create anxiousness and frustration and discouragement and anger and embarrassment. And he just throws these in there. And every time they get thrown in there, what happens is our field of energy drops. And then as it drops, he gets closer. And you can see where this is going. You can see where this is going. And he gets closer and closer. And not just one of them, but two of them, because they're getting ready to pounce on you. Now, I show this to you because the more you hang around me, you're going to hear me be an advocate of clear your mind, clear your heart, because I'm trying to protect you from the devil. I know I'm just going to call it out because he's working on your energy field and he's trying to drop your energy field so he can get closer so he can mess with you. Because you know what he does? He's going to stir you up to be grumpy and ornery so that you hurt another person. Because here's a family member. And here's a child. Here's a child. And when you get all these thought bombs in your head and you get all grouchy and ornery, you know what you're going to do? You're going to pass on this thought bomb to your child. That's what's going to happen. It's going to go to your child, and then it's going to get on your child. And then you're going to throw another one at your spouse or your friend. And now you are the one hurting people. Now, where did it start? It started with the devil. He threw them at you. You didn't know they were being thrown at you. Your energy field went down. They could pile them on top of you, and then you unload them on people. And now guess what? You're working for the devil. So this is how the devil is destroying your gifts and talents, is because he's cluttering up your space. And so I was going to show this during the training, but I just you know what? I don't think I'm supposed to. I don't think it was the right place to show it. And then I see you hanging around and it's like, maybe it's for you. So what am I showing you here? I'm showing you here that tonight, with all the training that I gave you about keeping your space good and open, this is to keep you safe. And in a world where a lot of crazy stuff is going on, you want to remove these and get these out and help your family and help your kids get those out so that your gifts and talents can be open and free. Be conscious of what comes into your space. Please be conscious, because then you'll be more responsible and less reckless. Right? And if you've hung around me for a while, you know that this is going to come out sooner or later, what I just showed you. But I think somebody here, it was for them. Be conscious of your space. Now check this out. The good thing is, when you focus on serving people and you focus on keeping your mind clear, your personal space opens up and gets bigger, and it pushes them away. And then when they try to throw something at you, because you have been in a good place, you can block that. You know how earlier I was talking about, I just got just a couple minutes here and then I'm going to show you. You know how I was talking earlier about this spot right here, blocking the negative energy from a person? That same blocking of negative energy from a person also is used in a way of blocking the adversary from his negative comments so that they can't come in. Do those things that keep your mind sharp and clear. It'll help protect your personal space, and you'll find you'll be a lot more confident and a lot more sure of yourself in the decisions you got to make. for you and your family, you and your business, for you, huh? So just want to just take a minute and just remind you the devil's real, and he's trying to ruin your life, but he doesn't have to get to you. Cool, huh? Okay, now I'm going to go. One last plug. Get in the apprentice program. You're going to love it. All right, I got to go. All right, thanks, everybody. You're awesome. I forget what button to push. I'm still learning this. It's so good.